Good evening. Our top story tonight at 10. Community colleges across the country are now some of the hardest hit by this ongoing pandemic. Thanks for joining us tonight on the CW at 10. I'm Veronica Macias. College enrollment for both returning students and recent high school grads, that has declined about 30% nationwide. KION's Jocelyn Ortega tells us why some local community college representatives say students are postponing enrollment and the impact it will have on the school's budget.
The start of the spring semester is just 2 weeks away, and school administrators I spoke with said the students are likely opting out of going to class because of financial hardships, but they say that holding back is only going to have negative impacts in the long run. Community colleges across the country have been some of the hardest hit institutions, with enrollment rates dropping about 30% nationwide. On the Central Coast, schools like Cabrillo College and Monterey Peninsula College are also seeing a drop in numbers. Cabrillo College President Matt Wettstein says enrollment at the college decreased by 18%. That decline was initially projected to be larger for the upcoming spring semester. Part of the reason has been the CZU lightning fires, which he says left many students displaced or forced to leave the state.
We saw a big drop in the first week back in September because people were just trying to get their lives back together.
Spokesperson Kristen Darkin with Monterey Peninsula College says the enrollment drop at her campus has gone down 14% from the previous year. She says both students who are returning or are just graduating high school are opting out of attending during the pandemic because of financial hardships. With reduced hours and staff in many industries, people are making work a priority. She adds another potential reason for the drop in enrollment is the lack of access to the internet essential for distance learning through online courses.
That online presence, even though our students who do stick with it are finding that they can learn online, I think for some it's just overwhelming, and I think that they've just decided that right now they're going to take a pause on their education.
Darkin adds distance learning programs are particularly challenging for students who are learning English as a second language. At Cabrillo College, President Wettstein says the college is working with an approximate $70 million budget, but worries classes and staffing could face cuts if enrollment continues to drop.
Some class cancellations where there's low enrollment is going to happen. Most of the time, the biggest brunt of that falls on our part-time faculty. So they end up in a really tough economic situation.
Wettstein says his biggest concern is the permanent outcome this could have for students in the future.
One of my worries, and I think for a lot of community college administrators, is that students who stopped out this year and decided not to go to college, there's a very high number of those students who they just never come back.
So far, there are still a few in-person hands-on classes, such as healthcare and auto tech, still offered at MPC and Cabrillo, with lower enrollments for health and safety reasons. Wettstein and Darkin say they hope to see more in-person classes in the near future, which they say could bring back more students.
If we're starting to hear that we can offer more in-person classes, we might expand that schedule. As soon as they hear that the face-to-face classes are starting again, I think that they'll get back engaged in their education.
The school administrators say they don't want any students to feel discouraged from coming to school. They say that help with things like access to internet and funding is available for those in need. They say all you have to do is reach out to the staff. In Santa Cruz, Jocelyn Ortega, KION News Channel 546.